I always wanted to build fast cars, so self-taught I started with engine swaps, composites in my apartment to multiple shops, tuning, fabrication, and more. 10 years later, the big times, SEMA, Speed TV, I climbed from nothing, but I lost it all. This is my new ride, KnightDriveTV.
Night drivers and drivettes.
Well, that's a way to start the video. Well, we have made it with both vehicles, and so yeah, unfortunately, because I haven't been driving the Corvette very much, I didn't realize that the Optima battery has seemed to have kind of failed. I've had it on a trickle charger, and I suspect it overcharged it, so it's kind of outgassing a little bit. I'm just going to leave it, and it looks like my serpentine belt's kind of melted, so for some reason it's either tighter than it should be or something like that. So I'm going to go find this guy. I've never done this before, so I see him heading towards me now, so we're going to kind of go through this and see how the experience is and see if I want to do some autocross. So let's see what happens. Well, the situation was I took too damn long to get out here, and I did not get to run today at all. So I'm going to set up. Josh is here. We're going to kind of set up a little area here in the center and just wake up in the morning and see what happens. Urban camping, bro.
Urban camping.
You like urban camping?
It's kind of nice, man. We got the strip back there.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you can see it, but look at this. I mean, we got a full view over there. Okay. Yeah, interesting. He's stuck on Christmas mode. He doesn't have any.
I lost my remote. Those things, man. You get like 100 remotes.
I know.
What do you do with them?
I don't know.
I have some big weird keychain.
Well, we're fireside out here, a little propane fire, making some dinner, and yeah, there's about 10 people out here, so did a walk around, didn't get to do much today, just kind of got here late, didn't get everything here at one time at the same spot, so everything starts 7 a.m., do a walk around, see what happens. It's a nice lot. It's very large, very spread out. He said they had some regulations on how close you can be to the edge due to speeds and limitations. They said this is a really nice spot for autocross, so it's definitely spread out. There's some nice mix of vehicles here, but some pretty beastie stuff. So, well, we're up and at 'em here, cooking some sausages, and Josh went through a wild ride, but apparently his son Uriel just slept right through it, so I don't know, shaking the whole bus. But yep, getting everybody sorted out here. We're gonna hit registration and do tech, because I didn't get that done yesterday, and we'll see what happens. I'm tired as can be, but well, tech was quick, but we failed, so He was shucking on the battery. He said this is on the top of the optimum battery, can't have that. And my helmet I thought was a 2010 because that's when I had actually purchased it, was in 2010, but it's a 2005 snow rated, so that ain't no good. Josh felt that because I was at a bit of a disadvantage, that getting into the heads of our opponents was what was needed.
I'm gonna give you a fuel line with a whole extra gallon of gas. I'm gonna give you an engine low to the ground, extra big oil pan, cut the winds from underneath you. 30, 40 more horsepower.
Yep, we got that. To get pumped up for the race, trying to intimidate.
I live my life one cone at a time.
Feeling around the paddock right now is that they're not too thrilled with Josh's antics so far. So I don't know if they're going to vote for him to return. So he's probably going to do something else that's going to taunt their minds. Got a pretty mean one here. He runs Optima. It's a modded Callaway SC750. So that's an ordered guy. Seems ready to run. He got his tow hooks on there. Everybody getting ready. Well, we're walking the course here. Just did change a bit from yesterday, so I don't know that I lost much in terms of learning the route, but because they change it from day to day. But I guess the only thing is I haven't driven my car in a tight, kind of aggressive layout versus something more long distance, whatnot. So we're gonna see how confident the front end is on the square setup. I suspect the I've done some skid pad and I've done some things with it since I've set the sway bar in the rear where it's at. I suspect it might be a little tight, so we'll see. I'm probably not going to change it. I'm just going to kind of get a baseline. And so, if you haven't seen, I've got something coming in terms of 3D designing a wide body and doing a 315 square setup instead of the 295 that I have now. There's going to be an offset change, so I'm going to run CamS. I would really like to tune it in this environment, and we'll see how this goes.
Damien just went in to the bus, finishing up getting ready. I guess he's gonna go first here in a couple minutes, so and try to get a couple shots of him and see how it turns out.
All right, so we're in the grid. I think I heard these ladies over here say, "Thank God I have insurance," or something along that line. They're riding together, so yeah, pretty interesting. I don't know. So I'm gonna do my first couple runs, just kind of feeling it out. I'm not gonna go crazy.
There you go, right there.
Well, we ended up spinning about mid-track. There's a long left-hand sweeper, and I'm on 27 pounds. I need to air up more because I can't get any heat in the tire, obviously. It's very cold out here. Surface temps are cold, so it's trying to manage the car and manage where you're going. So, it's definitely an acquired skill. There's obviously no question there, but I'm just gonna, I was trying to take it easy. I wasn't going out there hero style by any means. I was just trying to go out and kind of, not be pokey, and there's just no feel.
It seems like that's gonna be an issue probably.
They're up a pound, so I'm trying to learn all that. I missed the gate over there, so did you see me spin around?
Sorry, I didn't know what happened.
I just let it go. I just did it like a donut.
That thing is clean, man. I like that. I gotta see what you're doing, and I wasn't watching. Hey, man. You're looking good doing it, though. That's what counts.
Alrighty, well, got a cleaner run that time, got through. So yeah, still almost missed the gate. There's a little backside that a little hiccup, but So at this point, I was getting some of the detonation after 3/4 throttle or so, and again, that's really not typical for this car. This is something that's kind of introduced itself probably in the past year, and as I said, I don't drive this car much, so I hooked up HP Tuner, and I was going to pull a data log, but I was having issues with it having an error, so I went and abandoned that and just kind of ran out the rest of my runs for the morning. So in this one, this is going to be the last run of the early morning, and I put a mask over the windshield to kind of lower the exposure here, just so you can kind of see where I'm going. It wasn't a great image because it was exposing on me, but just kind of going easy through some of these early sections. I didn't have a lot of confidence in the grip of the car in the front end. It was pushing a bit, so still taking it easy, but the temperatures were coming up quite a bit, so I was starting to gain some feel in the car and whatnot, but just with the rear traction was still just a real issue, and coming off the corner you can see I was kind of fighting to kind of put the power down. So here I missed a gate somewhere, thought I had it, and I'm watching it now and I still don't see where the DNF came from, but overall everything seemed to go better as the heat was coming up. But I did see in this section here in decel, we were seeing a lot of smoke coming out of the car. Alrighty, so we were back, get 4 runs, and then have to go out and work the station. So let's see, first thoughts, first time I've ever done autocross in my life, done lots of track days, obviously, and I'm much more comfortable on the track, I guess, compared to this, because it's just, it's very different. Obviously having not run the car before, and it sits in the garage for the past year, essentially, or 10 years. It's got a lot, that I think needs to be addressed. And I was looking under the car, looking at the tire condition, and my rears are showing threads. A couple things with the car, and it's just not putting down power. I'm getting some detonation still. So I think it's a lot of car things to work through, and that's not excuses. I mean, this is difficult compared to any other, it's apples and oranges to a road course. You're driving a car, you're doing the same things, but it's definitely fun. I think it's I can see it being very addicting because it's pretty affordable overall, and your consumable cost is not really high like a road course. Your cost to even enter isn't that high, so you see a lot more grassroots, I think, guys out here. So after the work session, to where I was out on the far end of the course, I got to see a few elements a little bit better, so I thought I'd be better prepared in this afternoon session, as well as the fact that the temps had come up quite a bit, so I thought that I would be definitely shaving quite a bit of time. At this point, this is my second to last run of the day. I'm focusing on smoothness and just trying to carry more speed between these gates, but I was having a bit of braking confidence issues because I was getting ABS intervention without really feeling like I was extracting much stopping power. So it was kind of a battle going into the gates, and it was a battle coming out, putting the power down. So fighting just a lot of small issues. So it's something that I considered pulling the ABS fuse just to disable it. But I think a lot of these things are eliminated by just upgrading tire, getting more grip into the car, doing another setup, and just maybe going through and bleeding the brake system because it hasn't been done for quite some time. So lastly, I did add some race gas concentrate, a few ounces of that during the break for lunch, and it did make a big difference. No more detonation. Well, that concludes the day, and so it was pretty fun. I actually asked the guy, I said, my sciatic nerve has been hurting in my back for a couple months, and walking the distance out here, I said, hey man, is there any chance you have something closer or some way I can work differently? And he said, you know what, we don't have an announcer. So I said, that's for me. 46.239. Looks like it could be his best on the day. Clean run though. Looking good. So yeah, I jumped in there, did some announcing. Everything went wrong with the timing system. I think those other guys were in there before me, but about halfway through we actually knew what times were correct and what classes and everything was, and so I had a pretty good time with it. So other than that, yeah, that wraps it up. So we're gonna head out, and so I'm gonna give my summary right here. So getting her back home here, this is one of the many things that have turned up today, and this was one of them, which is strange. This has been on here for years. All right, so back at the garage, let me give my summary on what I thought of Autocross. First of all, overall, I think it was extremely fun. It's easy to access. It's affordable. Everybody, you know, pretty much by the book. Everybody there seems to be having a good time. It wasn't overly competitive or you know, anything like that, beside Josh trying to create psychological disruption because it's so mixed up, the classes and things like that. I think when I was announcing, I was realizing that, you know, there is some battles actually happening, and when I would announce it, I would look over and I could see them like listening. So I think that you know, some people were in it to compete necessarily in class, but some of those classes are pretty there's not many cars participating. So I would encourage anybody, you can go out there obviously with anything. And, you know, because of the way the classes are in the different tire, it's interesting how some cars you wouldn't expect to be fast, but in a compacted course, you know, obviously Miatas, small hatchbacks, things like that, things that have some balance, especially in the newer cars. You know, we have new cars with new tire, especially an aggressive 200 tread wear tire, or even a slick. It's impressive how fast some of them are in this type of small, compact, very technical course, as to where a power car, so to speak, you know, you wouldn't put a Lamborghini Aventador out there and it would get its lunch eaten by Miatas and all kinds of things. So obviously that would change in certain scenarios. So it's definitely a game of a smaller car, but I think it's challenging enough that it's super fun, you know, to have a car that puts down some power and manage it throughout that. So I certainly enjoyed it. I think most people also would that were car enthusiasts. You know, it gives you an opportunity to actually push the car, you know, going straight, fast. That's accessible all over the United States, you know, on ramps and highways and things. And I guess that's why we roll race and do all this straight line racing in America. But, you know, that's just not me. And what I like to do is obviously road course. And, you know, accessing, you know, road course events is $300, $400, plus you're spending money on tires, pads, just gas, and getting there and back and forth. So, I mean, doing track days and track weekends can be really costly. You could spend $10,000 or more on you know, per year easily, if you attend a number of events. So Autocross is going to be, obviously the cost is going to be much lower. Let me talk about the vision and kind of why I wanted to go into CamS, and also what my plan is for this car and what you're going to see here ahead. So specifically on the Autocross coverage or any event coverage, Autocross wise, I didn't cover this big time with cameras. You could see that there wasn't a ton of coverage. I'm going to focus on that more. And obviously have more views of the car. I didn't bring a lot of things. I wanted to run the HP tuner. I think it's track time or track tune. I can't remember. I used to use it with a view out the front windshield, and actually just use that to observe some data, look at the track. I want to talk about some strategies implementing forward, going the second time now that I've had a chance to think about it, maybe the track walk and some things that I could probably do to give myself a better chance knowing the course and going out there and being more aggressive from the onset. In terms of the car, so I've already ordered a set of tires. Obviously, I didn't know. I was showing threads in the back. So I ordered a set of, what did I buy? I bought Yokohama Advans AO52s. So it doesn't rain out here, and they're not good in the rain. So it's a pretty dedicated tire, but I'm going to put those on the 18x11 Forge Stars that I have in the square setup right now. But like I said earlier in the video, I have something else coming, and it's going to cater to the 3D designed wide body and all kinds of things. I'm going to build this car around basically a wheel and tire package that I've wanted to put on here. So how that translates and why I wanted to do CamS was because the SCCA Cam-S and Optima, the Optima Street Car Challenge that I've gone to SEMA for many years. I always liked that competition. And there's C5Zs do very well in there. Aesthetically, I think there's some things within the rules I'd like to see built for the car. So that's kind of what I'm going to do. And I've talked to a guy named Jim that runs a C5 Z06 out east, and he's participating in a lot of events for Optima this year. So this kind of works together with that CamS. It feels like the rule structure is pretty similar in terms of what you're allowed to have on the car. So it's going to kind of allow me to develop a few things and just kind of prototype them. I'm not saying that anybody will want them or want to buy them, or even that I'll make them. I may make one-offs, but I want to get into more airflow analysis and getting a whole model of the entire car into CAD and using some flow analysis to kind of see what I can do with some aero parts. I've had some concepts for some things and you know, me, it's like a design styling thing. It's an aesthetic thing. So I definitely want to design some things that fit into the roll structure that actually help the car be competitive, but also have a bit more of an aesthetic feel to them. So that's a big focus, and that's what I'm going to do. So I've got a set of tires for this. We're going to look into some other issues the car has. I'm going to data log it. Obviously, I'm going to see, you know, if I'm getting knocked. You know, with the fact that I'm blowing oil smoke, oil reduces the effective octane of fuel. When I built turbo systems and things like that, turbocharged a lot of cars. I mean, getting blow by and things like that, when you start to present oil into the combustion chamber, number one, it takes up space. So air has mass, obviously. Fuel and things like that take up space. Everything takes up space in the chamber. And when you introduce oil, especially degraded oil and things like that, it can be a point of ignition and things like that under pressure. So it definitely can alter and you know, cause knock and detonation to occur. So I don't think it's a timing issue. The car's had the same tune for a while, but I am out here on 91 octane. So I did run, I don't have it here accessible. I did run the race octane. It's like a concentrate. It does create like a reddish powder or substance on the plugs. So I'm going to pull the plugs and we're going to take a look at those things in future videos here. So I had ordered some parts from AMT Motorsports quite a while ago actually, and I just received them. I got the camber kit that actually locates your camber exactly. It doesn't have the eccentrics, gets rid of the possibility of you having a camber change under load. I've wanted to have those for a while, and I did want to reduce. I'm all about reducing unsprung weight. It's just a thing I like to do. So I got 2-piece rotors for the front, and I'm running the C5 Z06 brakes. Obviously, the calipers are not known for being the best, but at the level that I use this car, they're fine for now. I don't need AP racing brakes or something like that. So and they're much better than the OEM C5 brakes. I mean, in terms of, I don't know, huge difference. So, but other than that, I mean, we're going to investigate some things, and it's a good opportunity for me to work on the car and just be maybe a little more excited about it. So there's a lot coming with the C5 Z06. So if you're still here, which, you know, that would be a stretch if you are. If you are still here, maybe I do this on purpose, right? To see who's watching. But yeah, I have the, so I do have the prototypes complete. And so it was interesting. Fitting them in this side required a position change over this side. So it did take a bit of work for me to get these to work. But they do fit the original V1 brackets. All the brackets I've sold to date, these will fit in. So these have all glass optics and things like that. So this is something that I'm going to be showing here shortly. I'm working with some functions, I'll just say, and I'm going to try and figure out if I can implement these functions across the board, if it's something I can do per kit and not have too much of an issue with. But that's coming, and so these, I'm hoping they look good. You know, I'm still reserved because I haven't seen them on the car. Obviously, I like the white squares, the Bugatti Chiron feel. These might, you might be able to reduce your opening height, so I'm kind of interested in this. So we'll see. Lots coming, and I'm going to do a video here shortly about KnightDriveTV and kind of the vision I have moving forward this year. I do have a lot that's real backed up, and yeah, this was just another thing to do to kind of get out there and drive a little bit. So that's all I'm going to say on this one. I'm going to try again. I keep saying I'm going to put out more videos more quickly. It's the editing time. It's this video here that I'm doing right now. I started editing at 8 o'clock in the morning. It's 4 p.m. right now, and I'm still not done. So it does commit a day to it, and I have to weld stops and get some kits shipped today. So I've been working pretty hard. Need to focus on myself a little bit more. I've gained some weight in the past year. I'm not really happy about it because I couldn't afford that. So I'm going to be probably focusing a bit more on fitness and trying to get into a regimen and things like that. So yeah. A lot to do this year, a lot of changes coming for KnightDriveTV. I'm trying to get a commercial space and trying to afford that. So that's kind of the ceiling over KnightDriveTV. I'm in this garage, and I'm totally lucky to have a garage of any kind, but it's just not enough space for me to kind of grow. So all for the next video, guys. If you're watching this, obviously you're the hardcore. So I appreciate you guys, and I'll catch you on the next one.